Okay, so standard tuning for this, E, A, D, G, B, E. And technically, this may very well be like 3 different guitars layered over the top of each other, but I think we can actually combine them all eventually, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of effort to do so. So we could start here with, what would be like this first riff or like this first kind of layer here. And it's just laying kind of like the groundwork here with like some EAD bass chords here. First one's like an E without the fifth in it. It's basically we do the open low E, the 7 on the A, and then that 6 on the D. And we're just kind of doing like a light like down strum, just quarter note right on beat here. Alright, and we just do that like four sets of 4, basically 16 strums there, and then all we really do is just change the low E. We keep that same 7A and 6D, and we just change the open E to a 5 on the E now, and now we get like a major 7 without the third. Okay, so just that one note really, and the strumming and all that, the timing, it's all the same. So that's kind of like what the first guitar or like the first layer is doing, and eventually we'll get this other guitar or other layer that comes in, and we can really just kind of incorporate it here into that same stuff we're doing here. It takes a little bit of a stretch maybe, so if you can get that, it's not too big of a deal. We want that same open low E and the 7 on the A, and we're really just going to change the D string, what that's doing. We want to start at 4s on the D string here. Alright, and we want to do about 3 strums of that with the open, the 7, and the 4 there. And then we make that 4 a 6. So you can either just slide that index up to the 6 like that. It gets a little bit crunched, but you can manage it. It works good. If that's a pain, then you can just kind of do the 4s and then just quickly like switch to something like that with like the middle and the index. Or you can slide it. Up to you. Okay, so we do that. Once we get back to that open 7-6, then we kind of hold on that for like kind of like that final hit of the first measure, and then we do 2 full, measures of 4 strums, and then into the final measure of it, we do a couple strums of it, and then we do this little sus4, where basically we keep the open, the 7A, and then we want a 7D for like 1 strum. And then it just comes right back off to the 6 on the D. And then we get to our previous A major 7, the 5, 7, and 6 there. And that's just the same as it was. It just stays right on it. And if you can emphasize the 7 on the A, maybe just a little more, because that's kind of where like that lead line resolves to. Okay, so maybe emphasize that a little more, but other than that, it's just kind of like the same amount of strums. Okay, so you can play around with that different, finger configurations, see what works best for you. And then eventually we get another layer that comes over the top of it. So with this, we're going to try to keep as many of the notes that we have from like the previous chords, and I think it works pretty well by doing the open low E, and then we'll come up here, and the A string will now kind of take part for what the second riff was doing, and the D string will now be kind of this new part that comes in. And so basically we're going to do the open low E, we're going to come up here, we're doing 9A and a 9D. And it's essentially that same like E sus that we're doing, but it's just kind of inverted. Alright, and we do 3 strums on that, the open 9-9. Alright, and then we make the 9A and 11, and this will be kind of that second riff that happened. Alright, then we just stay on the open 11, 9 for that final strum of the first measure, and then, you know, 2 measures worth, so 8 strums on that. Alright, and then into the final measure of it, stay a couple strums on it, and then we get our sus4 there with making that 11A a 12 for 1 hit, and then back to the 11. Alright, and then it just goes to our A major 7, the 5, 7, 6. Alright, and maybe emphasize on that 6 of the D now, because that's where that third guitar resolves to. And it's just the same as it ever was. And other than that, we get to this ending, and it just kind of gets sparsed out, you know, a little bit loose, kind of free. And we do kind of like this B thing that happens here, where we hit the 7E with a 6A, and then come down and hit like the 6D under it. Hold that for a moment, come off to an open E with the 7A, go back to a 6A to 7, kind of start it over again with the 7 and 6 there on the E and A, hit that 6D, and then we just kind of slide it down to 4, hold that a moment, then we hit the 4G, then back up to the open low E and 6A to 7, slide that 7 up to 9, back down to 7. Alright, and then that's essentially it right there.